Golf News RI presents the Golf Dudes Podcast. Here are the dudes.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Golf Dudes Podcast. Hope you're all having a great Thursday evening and week. Joe Claver here alongside, virtually alongside my guy Rich. Rich, how you doing today, buddy boy? He's focused on the He's focused on the Bruins for some reason.
Yeah, not too bad. Weather's coming around. Hopefully, we'll get some good weather in the next couple of weeks and get everybody out on the golf course. Excited for the Valero this weekend, and then at the conclusion of that, it's Masters Week. So I know everybody's pumped up about that, as am I.
Absolutely. Masters Week is next week. Tons of Tiger talk from the last few days, so we'll certainly get into a lot of that. A lot of Valero talk, because there's a few guys that we care about, like Ricky Fowler, who probably need to win the tournament to get into the Masters. Matt Kuchar, I think, is another one, believe it or not. And I know a few other guys as well, so we'll get into all of that. First, though, we should tell you that the Golf Dudes Podcast is presented by Linkstrings. Linkstrings is best known for their transfusion in a can. A transfusion is vodka, ginger ale, and grape juice, all mixed up into one refreshing beverage. It's great to have by your side while you're watching the Final Four this weekend, or certainly while you're watching the Masters from Thursday through Sunday next week. And it was great to meet our Linkstrings friends in person at the Northeast Golf Show. And while we're at that, a big thank you to everybody who came out to see us at the Northeast Golf Show at Gillette Stadium this past weekend. Our brand was seen by thousands and thousands of people, probably 1,000 people per day. And we made tons of connections, met tons of new companies, golf-related companies, both locally and somewhat not locally. So that was awesome, and we were hoping, as I said in my Facebook post, we're hoping to work with those companies in some capacity in the future. So we'll see what happens with that. But it was a fun week. It was fun to exhibit at one of those shows. And again, thanks so much to everybody for coming out to see us, saying hello, and welcome to all our new followers.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. Good Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sorry. Met a lot of good people, a lot of good dudes. Met some ones we already knew. Yeah, overall it was good. Lots of companies were there. TaylorMade, Cobra, Callaway wasn't there. I got to test out the Stealth. That was nice. I wanted to test that out for a while.
Now, what did you think? What did you think of that? Did you say you liked that, or
It's very weird. I crushed it, but like when the ball hits the face, it's weird. It's very weird. You're gonna try and hit it if they have one at Kirkbride. You gotta try it, just to at least take like a couple swings with it, because the feeling is like the sound is almost as weird. It's just you gotta try it, because I can't explain it. It's very bottom heavy. Like the head's heavier than a normal driver. But when the ball hits the face, it feels like soft, kind of. Yeah. And the sound just isn't like a normal driver. It's pretty cool. If I had $600, I'd think about getting it, but I would never spend $600 on a golf club. So.
You don't have $600 for a golf club?
No.
I thought you did. Sorry.
But yeah, no, it's I would tell anybody to just at least try it. Like go to Dick's or Golf Galaxy or something. Just take a couple swings with it, and you'll know exactly what I mean. It's one of the weirdest like things to try and pinpoint and explain. But yeah, no, it's a different technology, that whole carbon wood, whatever the hell it's called. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they have coming after this. If they're going to keep with the carbon wood and all that stuff. You know, TaylorMade had like the twist face and all that stuff. So who knows what they're going to come up with next.
Interesting. Yeah, it was a fun time at the Northeast Golf Show. And again, thanks to everybody for coming out. Thanks to everybody who came by and said hello, introduced themselves, and said that they follow us on Facebook and all kinds of other things. So anyway, thanks to everybody for that. The lead story today, which I just put up because I was trying to wait for the round to finish, is our guy Will Dixon finished his first round on the Corn Ferry Tour. Corn Ferry Tour debut. He shot a 4 under 68. He's 4 shots off the lead after round 1. They actually had a rain delay, so I don't think everyone's going to finish. He ended up finishing. They called play just as he was on the 18th hole, in the middle of the fairway on the 18th hole. So he had to go in and come back out or whatever. I guess for a while he's telling me, because he was texting me in between during the break. I guess they were 50-50 on whether or not they were going to go back out. Obviously, they went back out. So he's 4 shots back after round 1 on the Corn Ferry Tour. Mark Hubbard and Carl Yoon, whatever, have the lead. So a good first round for Will. And I know there's tons of video on Twitter of his press conference and stuff. So pretty neat. And again, the story is just up on golfnewsri.com right now with exclusive comments from Will Dixon that you can only find on golfnewsri. So there's that. Certainly a fun first round for him. We'll see. We don't know what time he's teeing off tomorrow because, like I said, people still have to finish their rounds, I'm assuming. So who knows what time. I'm assuming it'll be in the afternoon tomorrow because he was in the morning today. I'm assuming that's how it works on the Corn Ferry Tour as well. So that is the big local story regarding pro golf story with a local tie, obviously. So a good day for him. It should be fun weekend to follow him. And Golf News has actually broken a series of big stories this past week, really starting from Friday at the Northeast Golf Show when we broke that Valley story, which was crazy. And then obviously recently, congrats to our good friend Nick Maresca on being named head pro at Gloucester CC. And then today we had a big one, big one-ish. Joe Cata, I'm on my podcast. What are you texting me for? And then today we had apparently Patrick Walsh has pulled his name out of the PGA Tour University rankings. He was ranked 18th. He pulled his name out, which could mean that that he's going to come back to Oklahoma for another year because he has an extra year of eligibility given the his COVID year. So that was a big one today. So a couple of news stories. We also have an interview with Michael Callahan of Chase for a Cure to get to, which I want to get to in a second. But Rich, just some of your thoughts on some of those big stories. Obviously, the Valley one was humongous. That was a huge get for us on Friday at the Northeast Golf Show of all freaking places. I'm sitting there trying to write a story, and people are coming by and saying hello. I'm like, just leave me alone for 5 minutes. But what do you think? What do you think about that story? What does that mean for the golf community in Rhode Island? Obviously, Valley is good. Obviously, we don't want to see golf courses go away, but it was quite a bizarre situation. Quite a roller coaster.
I think it was sort of good for people who don't belong to private clubs. I mean, that was one of, in the mid '90s and early 2000s. I mean, even towards when they, towards a couple years ago. I mean, that was one of the premier private courses in the state. A lot of people came from out of state to play there. A lot of, like Kirkray does, they have a lot of the members have people come from out of state to play and stuff like that. So it actually benefits a lot of the people who don't get the chance to play a course like that. It going semi-private. Now everybody can play it, which is nice. And I mean, like I said, when we played in that scramble tournament, the greens and tees were absolutely fantastic. Probably some of the best greens I've ever putted on or played on. So yeah, I'm excited for everybody else to get a chance to play on it who normally wouldn't get a chance to play because they don't know anybody at Valley. So I think it's good for the community.
And the food is great.
If you have not tried the restaurant at Valley, their food is amazing. I've been to a couple weddings there. Their catering is great. And the kitchen used to be members only. Now it's open to the public, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, so that was the big story. I actually reached out. I don't believe she's going back to me yet. Anyway, I actually reached out to Melody Caruso, who's the GM at Valley, and asked her if she wanted to come on our podcast. Not necessarily today, but just in general. So we'll see. Obviously, yes, I know my audio is cracking up. I'm not sure what that is. I'm not doing anything, but we'll have to try to do it.
It keeps going in and out for some reason. I'm not sure what's causing it.
We'll have to try to do something about that. But either way, so we'll see what happens with that. But certainly a big story there. And then obviously Will Dixon today, not a bad debut, 4 under, 68. There was all kinds of video. There's all kinds of video of him on Twitter. His post round press conference was just funny, and those kind of things. So good debut for him on the Corn Ferry Tour. He said once they get out there, it was just another tournament. But he said leading it up to it, it was definitely a different vibe. It was definitely definitely a different atmosphere with fans, and not that they get thousands.
He had the bubble guts going into it, a little nervous stomach. Yep, yeah, I believe it.
So, so those are the big stories. The three big stories really that we've had, and obviously Nick Maresca taking the Gloucester Country Club job. That story went crazy on our Facebook page. If you look at it, it's got like 152 reactions and like comments and shares. So I told Nick, I said, Nick, we need a Nick Maresca story at least once a week. If all your stories are gonna get reaction like this,
that'll bring.
I mean, Jesus. I mean, Jesus. He laughed. I was obviously joking, but he laughed. So
yeah, it's a big loss for Kirkbride, and I hope Gloucester realizes what they're getting.
Yeah, so we'll have to go visit him in Gloucester for sure. And I've never played there, but they say it's a nice course. It's a nice,
I've never played there either.
Nice 9-hole course, so that's good. At least he's not taking over like a dump, which would obviously suck. So there is that. So let's do this. We actually hinted at it with last year's tournament, the Chase for a Cure tournament. I talked to Michael Callahan earlier this year. The tournament this year is on May 16th. It's at Crystal Lake, which is another nice course. The deadline to sign up for it was April 16th, but it is now. Michael said he's moving it back a week to try to accommodate more people. So I hope I get that date right. Yes, sorry. May 16th at Crystal Lake, the Chase for a Cure tournament to benefit the Marfan Foundation and Michael's son Chase, who has a super rare disease that he says only about 60 people in the entire world might have, somewhere around there. It's pretty crazy. Obviously, we played in last year's event. We're not going to make it to this year's event. There's all kinds of other stuff going on, unfortunately. But we're trying to help support their tournament as best we can. So I talked to Michael earlier this week for a separate podcast. You can see the full interview on golfnewswire.com, but I put together a couple of clips. It's about a 3-minute video. And so Keyshawn, who's our producer, why don't we hit that now? And then we'll come back, we'll recap that, and then we'll move on to some of the Tiger talk, Masters talk, and obviously the PGA Tour this week. So here's my interview with Michael, or clips of my interview with Michael Callahan from earlier this week.
Chase was diagnosed in 2018 with kyphoscoliotic Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's a genetic connective tissue disorder, so it's permanent, and basically it affects all of the tissue throughout his body. So he will have a lot looser joints. He is much more predisposed to vascular issues such as blood clots or any kind of problems with his heart, really. He's also much more prone to kyphoscoliosis of the spine, so he will likely need surgery at some point to correct that, a permanent spinal fusion surgery. He also is right now being followed for a problem with his neck. He will likely also need a level 1 fusion surgery in his neck at some point soon. Because of something they call craniocervical instability. So his neck is unstable and the vertebrae may not hold on its own if he were to do things like jump on a trampoline or run throughout the neighborhood, something that normal kids do his age. So they might have to fuse that together to make sure that that stays and that he wouldn't be potentially seriously harming himself. But otherwise, he's doing tremendous. For an update from last year, we just had his follow-up appointment for his neck maybe a month or two ago, and the doctor gave us the all clear for another year. So with this tournament, we're just hoping to try to raise some money for a little bit more research so that other families will have an idea of what to do, and other doctors will be able to guide them in the right directions and potentially cure this down the line. For those who don't know, again, this is an extremely rare condition. So worldwide, when he was diagnosed, there were only about 60 documented cases, mostly out of Switzerland. So I believe Chase was the first case diagnosed in Rhode Island. He was the first case diagnosed by Hasbro Children's Hospital. So when I say it's rare, I mean, it's rare. We only know of maybe 10 other families in the US that have it or that are afflicted by it. So trying to find different treatment approaches or even what they can and can't do for physical therapy is challenging. So what we're trying to do and what the aim for is with this tournament is to raise funds to help the Marfan Foundation, one, figure out some of those things that can be done, but also put money towards medical research so that, again, we can try to cure this.
And again, that's the Chase for a Cure tournament on May 16th at Crystal Lake Country Club. The link is on our website in the articles. I believe was written multiple articles on it. So sign up for that. Again, the sign up date has been moved back to around April 22nd, 23rd. And so people can sign up for the tournament. It's a fun time. And obviously for a great cause to help Michael Callahan and obviously his son as well. So there's that. Rich, I don't know if you had any follow-up thoughts on that, but I know we played last year, had a great time. So
Crystal Lake's one of my favorite public courses to play. It's mid-May, so you guys should catch some good weather. It's known to be windy over there at the beginning and the end of the seasons, but one of my favorite places to play. Make sure you guys snatch up some foursomes before they get taken. You guys will have a fantastic day. I know from experience. I've played there a ton of times, so make sure you guys snatch up your foursomes.
For sure. So there's that again. May 16th is the tournament date at Crystal Lake. So there's that. So other than that stuff, there's really nothing else going on in the golf world. I must say.
We can just end it now if you want.
Yeah. So obviously the big story in the golf world this week, obviously the Masters coming up next week. We do realize there's a tournament going on today, which is actually a surprisingly good field. I don't understand why, but anyway, Tiger Woods, I think he's going to play the Masters. I don't know why he would be doing all of this if he wasn't going to play. It doesn't really make any sense. I don't know when he's going to announce it. There's speculation on when he's going to announce it. I don't even know if he's going to announce it at all. If he's just going to show up, as Brandel Chambly said on the Dan Patrick Show, his name is already listed as playing on the Masters website. So what? And even Brandel's like, I'm not sure what he really needs to announce if it's already listed.
Yeah, I mean,
so everyone's waiting for some announcement. I'm not 1,000% sure there is going to be an announcement.
Either that, or we're going to get a no. It's a yes until it's a no type of thing, right?
Right.
I'm assuming.
Right.
So,
that's what I figure. So
I mean that I guess that's good. So I guess we have to wait until Thursday.
Well, I mean,
next Thursday. It's like
Monday you would know, obviously. But
Monday, yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah,
he'd be there before Thursday. I speculate.
I mean, why prepare walking at the other course? Why even go down to Augusta? Why? I mean, I don't think he's just down there just to go down there. I mean, I mean, obviously, he left his house. He practiced walking at the other course over there. So yeah, I mean, I'm what 90%, 95% sure he's going to play, barring knock on wood. Hopefully nothing happens. Barring something happening,
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a go.
Pretty unbelievable. I don't know if either of us actually thought he was going to play. I mean, I was certainly hopeful. I think we both were hopeful. We were both hopeful.
I wasn't at all.
But I didn't realistically think there was a chance that he was definitely going to play. And it seems like
maybe he just plays St. Andrews. That's it, because that's probably the last time it's going to be there when he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought. I thought he would play the Open and maybe like a couple, maybe a handful of other regular tournaments, and that's it. But here we are.
So pretty unbelievable. The golf world, certainly the golf social media world, was going to frenzy this week. People were tracking his plane, which is kind of strange. It's still kind of bizarre to me, but I guess it's a thing.
They did it with his boat too.
They did it. That's true. Yep, they did. They did it with the boat too. So
yep.
I find that all kind of bizarre, but
right.
well, it works.
Where else will we get our news from?
Yeah, so that's the big news regarding that. I know Harris English today withdrew from the tournament. I guess he's been injured. I don't know if that's big news or not, but he withdrew from the Masters. And also, according to Golf Week, Jack Nicklaus is no longer playing the par 3, which obviously is too bad. I wonder if he's just going to be there with his, he plays with his grandson or something like that.
Yep.
But maybe Tiger will play the par 3 too. Maybe Tiger will play the par 3 with Charlie and the Masters with everybody else. So that would be something. But certainly, Masters Week will be in full force next week. Of course, next Thursday, you won't be here because you're going to the Frozen Four.
Correct.
But next Thursday night is always a fun show because we essentially have the Masters post game show. So that'll be fun. It should be interesting. Do you have? I know we have a tournament today to talk about, which we will. But do you have early thoughts on the Masters? It says everyone said it's going to play harder than it usually has in the past. I guess they changed some of the greens.
So I heard.
They lengthened it.
I heard Thursday and Sunday is going to be clear, but there's a chance for showers and/or rain on Friday, Saturday. That's what I'm hearing, and we all know what happens to Augusta when it gets wet. It's a lot more playable. It's a lot more gettable. Guys go low. Hopefully that's not the case. They just get some showers and not actual, like saturating rain. I have to think. I gotta actually look at the field and see who before I make my picks. I'm not really sure. I'm obviously putting something on Tiger. I actually got to look at the numbers when I get off the phone here. I mean, when we get off the podcast, I'm putting something on Tiger. I just don't know what. I mean, my whole thing is if he makes the cut, he may as well just win the tournament at that point. I mean, I think making the cut is huge, given the fact that he was in a hospital bed a year ago. You know what I mean? So, obviously, Scheffler's one of the favorites going in. Your usual JT, DJ, Morikawa, John Rahm, all those guys. So I gotta take a look and try to make some educated guesses on who could take this thing.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, you got to think Scotty Scheffler. It's so funny, and Scott Van Pelt obviously. You sent me something today, some meme that Scott Van Pelt said. I'm assuming he said it on his show. How he was talking to another pro that you could play naked and no one would even know because Tiger's in the field.
Because Tiger's playing,
And this is gonna be the first.
Oh, and the guys on the Foreplay podcast, they had like a from the gallery. It said, do you think that more players are happy that he's gonna play or more angry? What's your take?
I think they're happy because it's good for the game, and everybody wants what's good for the game. It's good. It's good for the game if he plays, and then they can say they beat him, even though he's probably playing.
Yeah, that and/or maybe some of these top guys thinking, "Oh crap, maybe Tiger's going to win it instead of me. He's going to beat me in a playoff or something like that."
Yeah, but now
take my jacket away.
Yeah, but you also look at it like, first of all, if Tiger wins this thing, then he might as well just.
I don't see that. We also said he wasn't going to win in 19.
Right. I mean, if he wins this thing, you might as well just call him like the Jesus Christ of golf. I mean, if he somehow
straight up,
if he somehow pulls this one out of his ass, then I don't know what else you can possibly say. But I think it serves as a distraction because now no one's going to be talking about Rory choking again in the Masters. No one's going to be talking about Jordan Spieth. These guys are just going to play freely. True. No one's going to pay. No one's going to be watching them, right? Yeah. Tiger's getting all these TV coverage. Every single shot of Tiger's is going to be televised one way or the other. I'm pretty certain. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets an afternoon tee time on Thursday. That way, he's in the TV window.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and this is the first Masters in 2 years. I know the COVID Masters was at a strange time anyway, but this is the first Masters in 2 years with full fans, full patrons. Yeah. As far as I remember, and also this is the first one. Not that anybody cares that much, but this is the first one with a par 3 contest in 2 years. Right? There was no par 3 contest the last 2 years, so there's a lot of firsts for sure. And it's always an exciting week. Obviously, the Masters, we'll have coverage of it next week and everything as well. Obviously, we'll have some stuff up, starting this week. I'm assuming tomorrow's the deadline for players to commit. Obviously, that's why there's so much Tiger talk. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't make an announcement at all. His name is already listed on the website. What else do you need? But I'm sure there'll be something. I would think he would say something, or somebody will report something. Harry will break a story that he's playing in the tournament or something like that if he doesn't announce it himself. I'm imagining that will be the case. So tomorrow will be an interesting day, as we talked about on the phone earlier. We're kind of on emergency watch for any breaking Tiger news over the next day or so. It's kind of like especially either way, but especially if he does in fact commit to the Masters, it's kind of like a drop everything and right movement. So that's certainly what I'll be doing for sure. So there's that. The PGA Tour tournament this week, the Valero Texas Open, the one before the Masters, is always interesting. Usually it's always crappy because no one actually plays. Everyone takes the week off, or they get to Augusta early. But this year, apparently, people are changing their plans. Rory McIlroy is playing. He's not on the leaderboard, so apparently not well. Jordan Spieth is playing.
Yeah, there's really nobody on the leaderboard. No big names except for Kuchar, really.
So let's do this. Let's go to a commercial break. We'll come back. We'll do a Valero Texas Open recap, figure out what it all means, why so many people are playing this week, and then we'll get into some more Masters talk and other things as well. This is the Golf Dudes Podcast. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Billy Andre joins the show. Billy, thanks so much for doing this, and we appreciate you taking the time.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
I'm very excited to be joined by an 11-time Emmy Award winner, and that is Armin Katayan. Massachusetts Women's Amateur Champion Allison Paik.
The days of the country club just being golf and maybe one amenity are gone. Unfortunately, Metacomet doesn't have those.
He has a very rare condition called kyphoscoliotic Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And at the time of diagnosis, there was only 60 documented cases in the world.
When we legitimately played the last 4 holes at Newport National, you could not see 50 yards.
And welcome back to the Golf Dudes Podcast, presented by Links Drinks. Links Drinks is best known for their transfusion in a can. A transfusion is vodka, ginger ale, and grape juice, all mixed up into one refreshing beverage. You can find it at liquor stores and country clubs near you. It's a great drink to have while you're watching the Valero Texas Open this weekend, or the Masters next weekend, or really anything else at that moment. So Valero Texas Open, a surprisingly good leaderboard. I mean, a surprisingly good field, not a great leaderboard, as we discussed. I don't know why so many people are playing. I don't know what. Usually no one plays this week, but it's interesting that they are. I'm just pulling the thing up myself. Rory is playing this week. Spieth is playing. Matt Kuchar's on the leaderboard. He's going to win basically to get into the Masters. Same thing with Ricky Fowler and a few other guys. So I don't know if you want to do a quick rundown of the leaderboard, if you want to get right into some of the discussion. But an
before we go PGA, I just want to give a shout out to the LPGA. Their first major of the year is this weekend. If it doesn't add to any more of the craziness of the sports world for the next 2 weeks, I'm trying to pull up the leaderboard and give you like a little maybe top 5. Also, don't forget the women's amateur at Augusta is on Sunday.
Well, at Augusta it's on Sunday.
They're playing a Champions Retreat today,
right?
And they will be wrapping up the final round on Sunday. That's a good, a nice little way to get a little eyeballs on.
While you're on the Augusta National Women's Amateur, we should report, I guess, this breaking news ish. The second round was suspended at 7:52 p.m. due to darkness. You're seeing this too. The second round resumed tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. at Champions Retreat. Excuse me. All 72 competitors will go to Augusta National for a practice round following the conclusion of the second round. So that's a lot of golf in one day, it sounds like.
Right.
But anyway, I guess if you're playing at Augusta National, I guess you might as well just play 36 in a day. Right. So anyway, that's the somewhat breaking news out of the Augusta National Women's Amateur. The second round was suspended. due to darkness, it will resume tomorrow at 7:30. I know they've had, at least today they did. Not that I was watching it, but I was certainly following it. They had a ton of weather problems. So there's that.
Yeah. So the LPGA's the Chevron Championship. It's their first major at Rancho Mirage, California. Let me just give you a quick Jennifer Kupcho. She's the one that won the inaugural Augusta Women's Amateur in its first inaugural season. She's in first place. Anna Norquist is tied for third. Let's see who else. Lexi Thompson is tied for seventh. Let me try and see if Georgia Hall, Lydia Ko tied for seventh as well. I just wanted to give a little shout out because their major season's starting as well, so we can get back to.
But
the PGA. Just want to give a shout out to those ladies.
No Nelly Corda though, and that's the only woman.
No Nelly Corda because of her
the blood clot. That's the only woman
blood clot. Yeah,
that's the only women's golfer that matters.
Yeah,
at least for Americans.
But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to give them a little shout out. Let me get back to the Valero. Yeah, so Valero. I just was looking for the leaderboard on the PGA website. There we go. Come on. There we go. All right, so we got Russell Knox in first place, leading the pack at 7 under. I do believe all these scores are final. Let me scroll down. Yeah, all the scores are final. We got Rasmus Højgaard alone in second. We got Matt Kuchar, Denny McCarthy, JJ Spawn. Let me go down. And Aaron Rai, all tied at 5 under for third. Let's go down here. Luke List, Ryan Palmer tied for 7th at 4 under. Your boy Peter Uline tied for 7th at 4 under as well.
Not to bust your balls, but there are a few guys. Not that it matters. Yeah, I'm trying to bust your balls, but there are a few guys that say through 16.
Oh, is it really? I scrolled like about halfway down and I saw all finals. My bad. Sorry about that.
I mean, maybe it's Mike. Maybe I'm
Siwoo Kim is 3 under, tied for 18th. CT Pan also at 3 under. Let's see what else we got. Gary Woodland tied for 30th at 2 under. Dylan Fratelli 2 under as well. Henrik Stenson 2 under. I'm trying to find Billy Haas 2 under. Wow, there's a lot of guys at 2 under. Holy. Tony Finau 2 under. Haven't heard from him in a while. But he's making his start. Let's see what we got. Jonathan Vegas 1 under. Ian Poulter 1 under. I'm trying to find the boys. I don't see them. That's not good. Keegan Bradley 1 under. Come on. Rory and Ricky are both even, tied for 71. Spieth is also even. Charlie Hoffman, Zach Johnson, Cameron Champ, Pat Perez, Camilo Villegas, blast from the past. They are all at even. Let's see who's. Lee Westwood's 1 over, so it's not a bad. Brant Snedeker's 1 over, so it's not a bad. It's not a bad field. I have a feeling a lot of these guys are probably not even trying to make the cut if they're out that far out, just so they can get an early weekend. You know what I mean? Matsuyama's 2 over. I'm actually very surprised that he's playing this weekend.
Has he even played a lot this year? It doesn't seem like he's been around much.
No, he only has a couple starts this year.
Maybe that's why he's playing.
That's why he's playing, yeah. But I'm trying to look. It's a big field. Holy crap.
Where's Ricky Fowler? Did you say Ricky Fowler? He's going to basically win to get in the Masters.
He has to win to get in.
Pretty much.
We'll go down to the bottom of the list and do our...
Who's... Our last place award goes to?
Guido Migliozzi? I feel like I'm in The Sopranos. At 6 over.
There you go. You're right in it, buddy. Keep going.
Everybody knows who Jimmy Walker is. Jimmy Walker is at 6 over, so they're all tied for the last place. Unfortunately, my boy Sahith Theegala. Yep. You guys know that name from the Waste Management. He is at 5 over through 17, so he's got one more hole to play. Sam Ryder too. That's another name. He's tied for he's 5 over as well. So yeah, it's a decent leaderboard. You can switch over in between basketball games or commercials in the basketball games. A lot of hockey on this weekend too. So yeah, there's a lot to do this weekend in sports.
There most certainly is. Guys that aren't playing well that are playing next week, do you think it's just to take them? Because typically, and they were saying this, typically these guys go to Augusta early, and by Sunday night they're already practicing. So maybe these guys that haven't won, like Rory and stuff, they're just trying to change momentum and change. But if you play this tournament and you play like crap, I don't understand how that helps you going into
That's like
Augusta.
what you're trying to do.
Now, if you win this tournament,
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
So that's interesting. Jason Smith says the U.S. men qualify for the World Cup. Woohoo! Go team.
Yeah.
I guess that's that.
As opposed to embarrassingly missing the last World Cup, which is nice.
Yeah. Well, good for them, I guess. So there's that. That is pretty much the world in golf. We pretty much recapped every single level of golf. High school golf season is coming up in about a month. Actually, less than a month now. So there's that. I haven't played since our round of the King 2 Fridays ago. So hopefully with the weather getting nicer, I'll be able to play some more.
What's the matter? You didn't like the 22 degrees of a low on Monday night?
No, that was not my favorite.
Good Lord, man! I got home from work and I looked at the dashboard of my car. It said 22. I said, "You've got to be kidding me!"
Yep. So.
Just brutal.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's basically it. We pretty much did everything again. We'll be following Will Dixon all week. There's actually all kinds of video of him on the Corn Ferry Tour Twitter account. So if you're looking for video, I'm actually going to embed in about 10 minutes and put it up. So there's some post-round reaction from him, which is kind of neat. And we'll see how he does tomorrow in the second round of the Corn Ferry Tour. And who knows, maybe he'll steal a victory, which would obviously be career changing.
That'd be crazy
for him at this point. But he's only 4 shots back after round 1. Shot a 468 today for his opening round on the Corn Ferry Tour. We have PGA Tour stuff. We have Masters hype looming. We have the Tiger Woods stuff that's whipping everybody into a frenzy. TW Legion tweets out, at this point, the decision has definitely been made. So people are expecting some.
Yeah, whether it's one way or another, it's probably been made today.
So whether he plays tomorrow or not, everyone's expecting there to be some sort of news regarding him. So we'll see. But like Brado said, there might not be any announcement at all. So who you never really know what to expect. I guess, which is the beauty of it. But we'll certainly be on it right from the moment it is announced. I hope he doesn't do something screwy and announce it at 8 a.m. and just screw
when everybody's sleeping
and just screw up the entire news cycle.
Right.
I mean, I try to get up relatively early during the week, just to obviously make sure I'm on top of the content and send out the email or whatever. But 8 a.m. that would kind of suck. So I hope he doesn't do something stupid like that. But I don't think he will, because he knows. These people know how it works. And he's probably not up at 8 a.m. either. So actually, he probably is. So there's that. So we're all anticipating a big announcement from Tiger tomorrow, whether or not he's playing. I was on the Masters Zoom call on Wednesday. So I was on the Masters Zoom call with CBS, with our friends at CBS. Me and my good friend Jim Nance, just doing a Zoom call that we usually host. That we usually do twice a year. So there's that. And nothing really interesting came out of it. I didn't really get any content out of it. I didn't ask any questions this time because I already asked the questions I wanted to ask about the Saudi League last time, and they weren't going to answer. Somebody actually did ask them about that again this time, and again they danced around it. What was entertaining though was somebody asked them how they would handle the Phil Mickelson situation during the broadcast, and they both danced around it. They squirmed. They didn't have an answer. Jim was like, I'm trying to focus on the Final Four. I have all my notes. I'm trying to multitask. We'll worry about that when we get there. He goes, I'm sure we'll have production meetings about it and stuff. So that was kind of interesting that they kind of squirmed when somebody asked them about the Phil Mickelson situation, because that is going to be a storyline at the Masters next week. Is how does the broadcast handle not necessarily the Saudi Golf League, But the Mickelson situation. Mickelson is obviously a huge figure at Augusta. He's obviously not playing this year due to what is supposedly a PGA Tour suspension. Now, Augusta doesn't have to do what the PGA Tour does, but obviously they're gonna.
I'm 99% sure that Augusta did not want him there.
No, of course not. It would have been a circus.
There's no way.
No, it would have been a zoo if he was there, which would have been great for us. But it would have been great for content. But obviously, everyone would have been asking him questions. He would have had to do a press conference. It would have been would have been a circus. It's like when Tiger returned after his scandal. That whole thing. That whole thing was a circus. So this would have been similar, possibly even worse. So that is going to be a storyline as to how they handle it, if they handle it at all. If they don't touch it at all, then that's kind of embarrassing. Which that's a whole story in and of itself. But as a media person, those are I kind of look at some of those things and look for some of those things to see how they handle it. Because again, Mickelson is obviously he's a Masters champion, a multiple time Masters champion. So it will be interesting to see if they even touch it, if they even how they handle it. But they definitely squirmed during the Zoom call on Wednesday afternoon. So I got a good chuckle out of that. So a lot going on. Again, we've had a big 2 weeks of content here, mostly due to the Valley story, and obviously this week we had the Nick Maresca stuff, the Will Dixon stuff, which will be following all weekend long. So that should be great content, and who knows, maybe he'll surprise everybody and win after he won the Monday qualifier this past Monday, which is pretty crazy. So we'll see, but there's obviously a lot going on. Obviously a busy week next week with the Masters, super exciting stuff, and obviously there'll be tons of content. With that, if Tiger's playing, we'll have his press conference. Everybody's gonna have a press conference, obviously, which is great. And then after that, it's the PGA Championship, and then the U.S. Open, which hopefully we'll be at. And then we'll go from there. So the one thing I will say, that if Tiger doesn't play this week, if he decides to not play, you got to think that the rest of the majors are almost a lock, given that he was so close to playing this one. Like, you got to feel good about all the other majors.
I agree, absolutely.
So,
yeah, like we said, he basically trained to walk Augusta. You got to think that he's 99% close to playing, and if he doesn't play, you got to figure he keeps training and everything, and he'll come back even stronger for the next set of tournaments that he picks and chooses to play in, and the other three majors. So I don't think there's no way that he does not play. I don't think. I mean, he's down there. He, knock on wood, he hasn't had any setbacks. I think it's go time.
absolutely. So that is the thought. The thought is there's going to be an announcement sometime tomorrow, actually through social media. So we'll be on the lookout for that. Both Rich and I are on emergency watch for any sort of announcement that comes up, and then we'll figure out, depending on when it's announced and where we are, we'll figure out the best way to attack it from there. But I'm assuming there's going to be some announcement tomorrow, one way or the other, so that's the thought. Everyone's saying there's going to be. I personally think that it's going to be broken first by somebody official will break it, whether it's Amon or Bob Harrig, and then he'll make some formal announcement. But I'm willing to bet that it's going to be broken first by one of those guys, and then everybody will go off of their report, and he'll come up with an announcement later. I'm thinking. Now, who really knows? So there is that. So anyway, next week we have the Masters show, which is always fun. We do have, Rich is not here, but we do have a guest on next week. New friends from Teed Up. We'll tell you about them later next week, but they're planning to come on the show next week. And then we'll hopefully by then it'll be a full golf season. We'll hopefully have better weather, and we will go from there. But the goal is to have a lot of guests this summer and really dive into local golf scene. and hopefully some other cool things that we're doing and exciting announcements to come regarding Golf News RI, regarding podcasts, and other things as well. So there is that. So Rich, unless you have something else to add or something new to report, I say we call this show a wrap.
I just keep refreshing Twitter, thinking
feel like-
something's gonna pop up.
I feel like we're going to be doing that a lot tomorrow. And again, we're expecting an announcement from Tiger one way or the other. Brandel said today on the Dan Patrick Show, not that I'm listening to the Dan Patrick Show, but I knew he was going to be on, so I tuned in. He said that he wouldn't be surprised if there's no announcement whatsoever, because Tiger is already on the list on the match's website. So what is there to announce? But he's gonna. I mean, as TW Legion says, in the age of Pip and social media, I bet he's gonna announce something. I would think. So we'll see what happens. But obviously, lots of golf to watch this weekend. LPGA Tour, the Augusta National Women's Open, and obviously the PGA Tour, and Will Dixon as well. So a lot going on, lots of golf. Stay tuned to Golf News RI for all your golf needs. And we will see you next week. Well, Rich, we won't see you. You'll be at the hockey tournament, so enjoy that. And we will see
First
you
live hockey game in over 2 years. I'm excited.
Yeah, there you go. And it's the Frozen Four, so it's not like you're going to some high school game. So there's that. So we'll see everyone next week. We'll talk to you throughout the weekend on golfnewsride.com. Thanks to everyone for the support. And again, thank you to everyone who came out and said hello to us at the Northeast Golf Show. It was pretty amazing to meet so many people and have so many people actually know like who we are, which is pretty funny. So there's that. So hope everyone has a great weekend, and we will see you next week for the Masters post-game show. It should be a lot of fun. It should be a fun few days here in the golf world, no matter what Tiger does. So we have that going for us. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and we will talk to you guys next week. Peace.